My
Like your kid.
apologies. You might be hearing a baby in the background. I have a 3-week-old.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. So, you might hear some crying here and there, and my sincere apologies.
Oh, no problem, man. Like that, yeah, not a big deal.
I didn't think it would be because it's 3 weeks. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's not like a 10-year-old keep your kid under control type of thing.
Oh no, no, yeah, you're good, man. No, I've had people on here that had their dog sitting there with them, licking their face and like, yeah, bro, this is not like professional, okay? uh,
I've got a white claw. I'm having
yeah.
yes.
Cheers, brother. I got a
There we go.
Modelo tonight
Oh, nice choice.
and a little bit of Captain Morgan's rum.
Don't make me get the tequila.
Oh shit.
Don't make me get the tequila.
I've got some 1800 in there too.
Oh God, I got to take care of this newborn tonight, and then I got to head to my field tomorrow morning.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you
Uh,
guys, you is that a recent addition? You guys started a indoor?
yeah, so I've been on the hunt for a facility for the better part of about 7 years now, and COVID's been the whole reason why it was kind of able to happen, both business wise and being able to actually acquire a building that was at a fair value. Because I mean, I don't know how much you know about the Northeast or Bergen County, New Jersey, Rockland, New York area, but it's very expensive.
Is it?
Yeah, like it's ridiculously expensive. For the longest time, like a 20, 30,000 square foot building would cost you 30 grand, 40 grand a month.
Wow. A month.
A month.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. I
So
did
it
not
just
know
it
that.
just wasn't viable. Like there was, unless I had charged people $100 for a session. Because right now we're doing sessions and it's $30 a session. But unless I charged $100 a session, it's not worth it. No, nobody's gonna want to do it.
Wow. Yeah. That's insane.
So we're at the final steps. We have our fire inspection on Friday morning.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, if that goes well, we then have our final inspection that I'm going to schedule soon after that. And then it's literally just me looking at my guys going, get it ready. Let's get
Wow.
an opening date. So
Yeah.
we acquired the building July 2021, and it's been construction since then.
Oh yeah.
Construction and dealing with the town. The town's been
Uh
nothing but a nightmare.
like permits and shit?
Yeah, it took 4 months to get permits. And then after the permits were given, they then in January went back on it and said, "Oh no, these permits aren't good." Sorry, no, they said we're not going to stop construction. However, you need to add a third egress because there's two of them in there, and 9 more toilets because the field can support 1,300 people
Gosh.
due to the square footage.
Do they know there's not going to be 1,300 people in there most of the time?
Yes, I told them put a cap of 200 if you want. The facility is big enough to support 465 people between bathrooms and exits.
Right.
And I was like, you could cap it at 200. I'm okay with that. And they're like, oh, it's not that simple. I'm like, no, it really is. You're the building inspector.
Yeah.
You could do whatever the hell you want. So just cap it at 200.
Oh
So
my gosh.
thankfully, we were kind of able to work through that, make them realize that the place is never going to have anywhere near that type of number.
Yeah.
And hopefully they give us the final okay within this next week or so.
What a nightmare. Yeah. Well, I work construction, so we have to get permits in certain areas, and because we flip houses, and some of them are in like historic, classified as historic districts, and it's a fucking nightmare doing paper. Like I don't have to deal with that, luckily, but it takes a very long time, especially coming out of this past 2 years where shit was backed up. So yeah, it's that can be stressful,
Oh no, with
but
them, the first problem was parking. It
oh
took it took 3.5 months to get parking.
yeah.
situated. And the funny part is, it wasn't even situated. It was me and my architect trying to get the town to be okay with how we had it set up. And they were fighting, no, not good enough, no, not good enough. And then eventually, my architect goes, all right, here's the name of an attorney. He's been in town for 40 years. Everyone knows him. Hire him and he'll get it done. I didn't even get a chance to send this man his check. And he got it done in 24 hours.
Wow. Holy shit.
I literally signed the check. I signed the paperwork Tuesday night. And I said, I'll have your check out by Thursday. Wednesday afternoon, he said, done.
That's the guy to know right there.
Yeah, but still, how much more can you make it look like it's just a stop, let him do his thing type of thing? Like,
Right.
come on.
Right. Well, welcome to the podcast, man.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I'm Eric from TriFecta Airsoft.
John, full of Airsoft.
Hell yeah. We got set up on this. This is like one of those blind dates. We got set up by Little Miss Airsoft.
Yes, yeah. Little Miss Airsoft works for me. She does my website and my website, my marketing. Website and social media.
Nice. Okay.
So
that's
she
cool.
so she reaches out and kind of helps with getting me onto podcasts and stuff while I'm trying to take care of everything else, pretty
Right.
much.
Permits and parking and fucking 100 toilets in your place.
Yeah, I still can't believe it. I still
Holy
can't believe
shit.
it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, so I found out about you guys, excuse me, from her when I did a podcast with her, and she was talking about how she worked with you guys and you guys had a good setup and that kind of thing. Well, then probably like a week and a half ago or a week ago, she sent me a message saying, "Hey, have you ever done a podcast with like field owners or store owners?" And I was like, "I don't think I have." And she goes, "Oh, you should start doing that. Start with John from Full Auto Airsoft." I said, "Okay." So that's kind of how we ended up here.
Gotcha. Okay, I mean that works out. It's,
Yeah.
we're heavily expanding into all sorts of territory. I started the store, and then we're doing the field now, and we are now getting into distribution as well.
Nice.
So
what you grew up, are you from that area where
yes,
you're at
yeah,
now?
born and
Okay.
raised in this area.
Yeah. And then I was looking at I usually do some research on people if I can, before I talk to them. So you started out kind of like in electronics, working in like electronics, what is it, Expo?
That is not creepy at all, is it? Yeah, that is actually exactly that's exactly where I started. That is when I was working at Electronic Expo. It's kind of where I started also playing Airsoft, and
Okay.
and that from there. So I remember working. So I worked there for about 3 years, and 1 year at my corporate side of it, I a friend of mine kind of showed me Airsoft, and I was like, sweet. As soon as I get my tax return check, I'm gonna go get a whole setup, and that's what I did. I went and bought an entire setup in 2007, and I think I spent like $800 on my first setup.
Wow.
It
Now
was
this would be a
expensive.
setup for what? Like indoor play or?
No, so back in the day, it really wasn't like that.
Okay.
It was way more like just outdoor play, but like when I used to go and play, there were no field.
Oh, so it was just pickup games.
It was pickup games pretty much. So
Yeah.
I started playing actually right behind Polar Star Airsoft.
No shit. That's crazy.
So right behind Polar Star, there's a massive wooded area that people have. I assumed, and I think I'm beginning to learn that it wasn't the case. They had permission to go and use this. It was like 80 acres of just woods, and and there was no housing around it. It was just literally one side was power lines, one side was a highway, and one side was factories, and that was it. And as far as you could pretty much go, and I started playing there, and then from there I went to my first Milsim event in 2010. Went to my first Milsim event. And along those lines, we had a store in Jersey that we were dealing with, and it was the store was great. It had a lot to offer, but the management side of it was not the greatest.
Hmm.
And it was a very much a, well, if you don't like it, go somewhere else.
Right.
So that, and then having to deal with websites like Evike and Airsoft GI and all that, and not being able to kind of have it in front of me and touch and feel. And like when you're spending this much money, like it's nice to be able to touch and feel all these crazy products.
Right.
And just having that not really open in front of me, it it kind of made me start thinking, well, I've done sales, I've done wholesaling, I've done high-end electronic sales, I've done buying for a company, I've done selling online for a company, I've done it all in this
Yeah.
one company. Why don't I start my own company? So when I tell you I started Full Auto Airsoft with $50, nobody believes me.
Holy shit.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is the total out-of-pocket expense.
And that
And the
was
reason,
for registering
so
your
not even
business?
not even registering it as an LLC. I registered it as a sole proprietorship.
Okay.
And that was the cheapest way to do it because that was then the only way I could make an account, like make it a business and then get accounts with KWA and Classic Army and all those companies was you
Oh,
needed
wow.
to have a business.
Yeah.
So once I did that, they allowed me to kind of start carrying some of the products, but some of the companies actually don't even allow you to carry the products until you have a storefront. Believe it or
Ah,
not, actually, KWA at that time, if you did not have a brick and mortar, you could not carry their products. You
gotcha.
had to have a brick and mortar. So I started that August 2011 is when I started the company officially. And what I was doing was I would find friends that were in Airsoft. There was a good group of us, and I was like, "Yo, so instead of you just ordering it online, let me order it for you, and I'll give it to you for the same price. Just let me collect the profit on it." And they're
Hmm.
like, "Cool, I'm getting it for the same price. Whatever, it's the same thing."
Right.
But I made a little bit of money here and there from that, and then I kind of took that and rolled it into Amazon. So I had a strong background with Amazon because of the electronics.
Right.
And I started selling Magpul products on Amazon just to build up more capital.
Oh, wow.
And then that then turned into taking that capital and while still doing that, bought merchandise. And then I went to other pickup games. There was a group of guys at the time in southeastern PA that had two locations that they were allowed to go play at. One of which was a rock quarry that one of the members' family owned,
Oh, okay.
and one of them was like an abandoned site with a multitude of buildings that they had permission, signed permission. This time I learned signed permission from the landowner,
Yeah.
and approval from the police department that they could go there and be no issues because it was tucked away.
Huh.
And long story short, I would just drive out there. It was about a 3 hour drive. I would drive out there, set up shop, sell to the people there because they'd get about 50, 60 people any given day. So I set up shop, sell them products, wrap it up, and head on home. And I did that from November 2011 till about March 2012. And then April came around, and I was like, I need to get a storefront.
Yeah.
So the hunt started, and May 15th, 2012, I signed the paperwork. June 3rd, 2012 is when I opened the doors.
That's wild, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you put the work in.
Yeah, it's been a
You put the
decade.
footwork in. Yeah, you put the footwork in to get your storefront. Yeah, I love hearing startups like that, like business owners that have, especially that have brick and mortars, that start like that because they have to have like boots on the ground. You have to put work in A lot of times now, a store can start up. They don't have to they don't really have to go face to face, or in person at a lot of events or whatever. Not just in airsoft, but just in general business. They could have a really good marketing team that puts out a bunch of ads or pay for some ads on Instagram or Facebook or whatever and blow up pretty quickly just from that, kind of like sitting behind the computer. But but yeah, getting out there, meeting people, getting boots on the ground where you're at, just setting everything up yourself. You have no idea if anyone's going to buy anything, or who's going to show up for that day for the for the games. That's pretty cool because I started out paintball back in '94, and I played for 5 or 6 years, and it was all pickup games until the last couple years we were going to some fields and playing that way, and sometimes you go to a field and we get there early because we're excited to play, because most of the guys I played with, these were guys I worked with, and we had young families like yourself. We had little babies or kids at home, so and we worked a lot. So that time on a Saturday morning, Saturday all day, like we had till like 4 o'clock or something. Man, that was like, hey, we're not wasting any minute, for guy time. So
Yep.
we would get up, get to the field early, and there'd be like five other people there with us. We're like, well, shit. And it's a giant field in the woods, to playing paintball. And it was like, we need more people, you know. But yeah, that's pretty cool. How you started out. It's funny that you went from this electronics, sales and whatever, uh, to kind of starting your own store that way. It's good.
The electronics, so with the electronic side of it, it wasn't more so kind of like having an electronics background, but
Yeah.
it was I guess you could say it was like it was like one of my life handouts, right? Like everyone always kind of gets a handout. It's just whether or not you capitalize on it.
Right.
And it was a handout because a very close family friend owned the company, and he took me in under his wing when I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
And he started me up in sales. I outperformed really well because sales is just in my blood. And then I kind of went up and up and up and up and up in the company. Went from just being a sales guy in a retail store to managing a retail store, and then managing like the high end store. And then I went into the actual corporate office. I worked in there, and that kind of then he showed me like how to do all the other stuff of a business. So I literally got a crash course of how to start and run a business in about 3 years,
Wow.
boots on the ground wise. And I
Yeah.
just kind of took everything I learned from that, and I was like, I can do this. And it was rough, definitely rough. 100 120 hour weeks.
Right.
Being up at 4 or 5 a.m. to drive 3 hours to get there by 8 o'clock to set up shop to be ready by 9 so that the guys would have the shop ready for them when they were rolling into the field, and
Right.
uh and then work there till 5 o'clock, break down, leave by 6, get home by 9. It was definitely a struggle at some times.
For sure, man. Well, you got to put the work in before you see results. Like you got to keep putting the work in before you see results. You have to believe in what you're doing, and
Yeah.
obviously you did. And that's I love to see that because I've worked with people and I've also seen other business owners, different kinds of, whether in construction or with contract, smaller contractors and stuff. These guys are just the owner. It just burned the fuck out. Like they're burned out. They hate it. They just but they don't know any other way to do anything. So, but when you have a business owner like yourself or whatever that just goes out and believes in what they're doing and has some good energy and is excited about what they're doing, you got there early. You were able to set up, get everything together, not knowing whether
it even be worth it.
right, exactly. Like that's, that is a very common theme for all successful business people throughout the world, to be honest.
Yeah.
So when I saw, I found it on your LinkedIn, by the way. If we weren't doing a podcast and I didn't, kind of want to research a little bit, it would be creepy. It would be like stalkerish, okay? But I try to research a little bit about who I'm talking with, just so I don't look like some idiot on here more than I am. So I looked up a little bit, I think, on your LinkedIn, and then of course, your business and stuff, how long it's been, and it was a really cool, I guess, history. And you've had your business for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
A little over
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah, so technically
yeah.
I started it August 2011. And then it became so then once I opened up the store, I changed it over from a sole proprietor to an incorporation.
Gotcha.
And it's been an incorporation since July 2012. So technically, June 2012. So this June would be the 10 years for Full Auto Airsoft Inc.
Yeah.
However, the Full Auto Airsoft brand has been around since August 2011, so just past our 10-year mark.
Was it a hard transition to go from like LLC kind of thing to incorporated? Like I've watched some videos on from different lawyers that put out, informational videos on business stuff, starting a business with LLCs and whatever. And I'm not really sure about the difference.
So mine wasn't an LLC. Mine was a sole proprietorship. So a sole proprietorship is when the owner is the company. So the tax ID at that time was my social.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So it's not considered an official company. So it's kind of like having a company but putting a personal guarantee on the company. So God forbid, if I was to get sued, it would come directly at me. I would be the one getting sued. Where like as an LLC or an incorporation, if the company's getting sued, I can be completely unharmed from it.
Right.
So when I went from a sole proprietor to an incorporation, honestly, I was like, I know nothing about this, and business is doing all right, so I'm just going to hire an accountant. And that man's been my accountant for 10 years now.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah.
So I just told him what I needed to do, and I think like 4 days later, he was like, all right, your book's on the way for your incorporation, and you're good to go.
That's cool.
I was like, bet. How much did that cost me? He was like, $1,200. I was like, great.
Oh yeah. Well, you're paying for that information, or their experience and information, and your convenience for sure. Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, I set up the company from the get-go to be a big company. So there's two types of corporations. There's a C corp and an S corp. Mm-hmm. And I set us up as an S corp in preparation for being, I guess, at the level that we're finally at now.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I've always kind of had the idea of I'm gonna make it. You just gotta stay in it, and you're gonna make it. And it's kind of funny. I was actually about to sell the company.
Really? When was this?
I was 3 weeks away from signing over the paperwork to a new owner.
Wow.
in 2020.
What led up to that?
Honestly, just married, wanted to start working on a family.
Yep.
And unfortunately, kind of running the numbers and seeing at that time that it wasn't going to be able to fully sustain the type of lifestyle I wanted and a family. Because there's things I'm striving for. There's things I want. I'm a car nut, so I want to own a supercar. And one of the goals
expensive.
I gave myself, yeah, very. But one of the goals I gave myself when I was younger was before you hit 40, you need to own a supercar.
Nice.
So I gave myself a realistic time frame. I'm not like sitting here saying I want to be 25 and owning a $400,000 car, but I gave myself a realistic time frame that if I made the right moves, if I did the right things, I could totally make it happen. And unfortunately at the time it wasn't making it happen. So I
Yeah.
was about to make the transition into another part in life. And so March 23rd, we were forced to shut down due to COVID.
Mm.
April 15th, we were supposed to sign the paperwork to have a May 1st transition.
Wow.
And the person kind of said, let's put it on pause due to COVID.
Mm.
And then mid-May said, sorry, third week of May said, I think we're going to back out just because everything was just so uncertain at that time.
Right.
And then I got the word that we were allowed to open June 15th, and I kind of went into it like, great, now I got to go back to it, and
Yeah.
it's just not going to be, I kind of lost a little bit of the drive
Sure.
after like 8 years though, it's kind of tough. But
Right.
opened the doors up, and I have no idea what happened. It's been a blur since then.
Really? Well,
It
everyone was
was
tired of sitting in their fucking house.
So I honestly think it was a multitude of things. After kind of looking back at it, I think it was one, everyone kind of being tired of sitting at home.
Yeah.
Two, the cost of ammunition was through the roof.
Right.
So a lot of real gun owners were kind of looking for an alternative to be
That's
able
a good
to
point.
do it at home and also not have to spend a fortune or
Yeah.
go to the range. And then on top of that, so many people were stuck at home, and I feel like YouTube in 2020 had more views than
Yes.
since its inception.
I'm
so,
sure. I'm sure.
So the number of people that had found Airsoft due to YouTube was just, I guess, on a ridiculous scale, which then brought so many new customers into the store. And my problem at that time was, well, I don't have the product.
Mm.
So I went from that to, all right, well, the government's willing to help. Let's get a small business loan.
Yeah.
And I ended up pulling that, dumped all of it right into the company, into getting product, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life.
Awesome, man. Wow. That is that's really cool because yeah, that if you're like on that, you had this company for like you said 8 years, and now it's kind of because of COVID and whatever, it's kind of going down, and now you have this expectation that well, I'm going to be rid of it. I'll get a lump sum. I'll do whatever you were going to plan on doing, and then nope. And now you got to kind of get rejuvenated into what you're doing again.
So 2
Yeah,
weeks is all it took.
yeah,
2 weeks is all it took to get to find that spark again.
yeah.
Because in those 2 weeks we did more business than what I used to do in a month.
Wow.
And then from there, business every month. So it went up about eightfold, 800%.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it went up about 800%.
Well, that'll help you
Yes.
get excited about going into there.
Yes, most definitely did. But then, so
Yeah.
it got to a point where like there was this huge influx, and I mean the store is very small. My store
Yeah.
is very small. My total building, or my part of my building, is 900 square feet.
Gotcha.
It's 500 square feet of storefront, 400 square feet for the back for teching and storage and website now and everything. And I kind of looked at it and I was like, well, I need to expand. I've got so much product crammed into this 500 square foot store that it almost looks like it's an Army Navy store, a surplus store.
Yeah.
You know how you just see piles on piles on piles of stuff? Like, it almost looks like there's no organization because there's just product everywhere.
Right.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
So the idea was, the first idea was, well, let me get a bigger storefront. And then after kind of speaking with my family, specifically my brother, who's a real estate agent and he's a GC himself,
Gotcha.
he was like, why don't we look into a field? And I was like, bro, help me find a field. I've been spending the last 7 years trying to find one. And lo and behold, Facebook Marketplace.
Oh my God.
I wish I could. I wish I was kidding. Facebook Marketplace. He found the building on Facebook Marketplace. Um, January 2021 is when I stepped foot in the building, and that's when we opened negotiations and working on the contract for the lease and everything.
That's awesome.
So so the idea behind it was if I just get a bigger store, that's great and all, but there's no additional attraction where
Right.
a field adds a whole nother aspect to it. And it's
For
something
sure.
that I have always wanted. I just didn't think I'd be able to do it just because of the cost, like I said, of this area. But this building came up. It's been vacant for about 5 years. The people were really eager to kind of get somebody in there, and I got lucky.
That's awesome. Now, are you planning on moving your storefront to that as well, so you can be in one place, or?
So it's kind of funny you say that because my one thing that I said is if I ever open up a second location, it's going to have to be at minimum about 2 to 3 hours away so that it does not share the clientele.
Right.
Now, the field's 10 minutes away. So I kind of went the complete opposite direction on that one.
Yeah.
However, I've come up with the perfect schedule for it, and even if it hurts the store, I do plan on moving the storefront to the field. However, still keeping that initial place. I actually just re-signed a 2-year lease for where I still am right now.
Okay.
Keeping it as website and shipping, our full tech department, and where people could go to pick up, like pick up in store type of thing.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. Yeah.
And just have like a small 6 foot area that people could walk in, pick up their products, and kind of go. And yeah, kind of do that with the area because it's just too convenient for me. It's 3.5 miles from where I live,
Gotcha.
so it would almost be very foolish for me to let this place go. So I decided no matter what, I'm gonna keep the place. I might just reutilize it for something else.
Exactly.
And the field's only 10 minutes up the road, so it's not even going to be too much of a difference for customers,
Right.
because it's not an hour drive away.
For sure.
But I did specifically come up with a schedule so that it doesn't really affect each other. So the store's open from 12 to 6 Monday through Friday. The field is going to be open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from 6 to 11. So the moment the store closes, the field opens.
Right.
So now it transitions customers directly from late-end customers from the store to the field. And then Saturday's the only day where they'll overlap due to, both of them being open throughout the middle of the day. However, Saturday can get very hectic in the store. So I really wouldn't mind splitting the clientele up just
Right.
because I've had customers sit and wait an hour, 2 hours to be helped
Sure.
due to how many people were just kind of in there just trying to get stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then Sunday, the retail store is not allowed to be open. So Bergen County Blue Law is a thing that prevents non-essential businesses from being open. This is not a COVID thing. This is a entitled rich folk thing.
What?
Yeah.
What
so
in the hell? What is this now?
So in Bergen County, New Jersey, since I could remember, I'm 33 years old. So since I could remember, non-essential businesses were not allowed to be open. You cannot buy clothes. You can buy food. You cannot buy electronics. If it's not life essential, the business is not allowed to be open.
So food, probably gas stations.
Yep.
So grocery stores, gas stations.
Convenience stores.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's about it.
yeah,
So everything else, all the retail
closed.
stores,
on Sundays.
even Walmart?
So Walmart is open for the food.
Oh, okay. So they have that where they close it
And
off
then
the side.
everything else is literally roped off. You cannot buy products from it on Sundays.
Holy shit. That is crazy, bro.
Yep. So since we're not allowed to be open, 10 minutes away, right over the border in New York, the field is allowed to be open because in New York, they don't have that law. So now the field will be open. So now full auto as a whole
okay.
will be open 7 days a week.
So your field is actually on in New York.
Yeah,
Instead of,
literally a quarter a mile in from the border.
oh shit.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we're about 5 to 6 miles away from the border of New York,
Yeah,
New Jersey, northwise, and then the field is about a quarter mile in.
that works out perfect. Wow.
So it definitely it made it perfect because it's really close to Jersey.
Yeah,
So Jersey people wouldn't mind going in. It is New York. So New York is a great area,
yeah.
and but it also allows me to stay open on Sundays.
That's wild. Yeah, see, down here in South Carolina, we're in the Bible Belt. So we have, when I first moved here, me and my family first moved here 15 years ago, they still had where you couldn't buy alcohol, beer, or anything on Sundays. Beer, wine, liquor, nothing on Sundays. So grocery stores, same type of thing. They would have the grocery store open, but the beer section, they would have these like tarps draped over them. And so you could, and then gas stations everywhere, anywhere in that county, in the whole state, was locked down on Sundays for alcohol. So, of course, Saturday evening, you
They
know,
were the busiest.
especially during the football season, yeah. So everyone's just packed, coming out with cases of beer and stuff, stocking up for that one day. But they recently changed that in the last, I think, 3 or 4 years ago. They changed it where a lot of these places you can buy beer on Sundays now, and we were all like, "Thank God, Jesus, this is crazy." But yeah, I
Yeah.
had never heard of one where the retail stores had to be, closed on Sundays.
Yeah, malls are all shut down. Um, and it's crazy because so we're so close to the border where we are that New York gets flooded on Sundays
I'll
due to
bet.
all New Jersey residents going to New York because there is a massive mall not too far from us.
Yeah.
So that mall gets absolutely flooded on Sundays. But then it's kind of weird. So in New York, they charge tax on clothing. In New Jersey, they don't.
What?
I'm not a politician. I don't know how they came up with these things.
Oh my God,
Yeah, so in New
that is
Jersey, there's no
wild.
tax on clothing.
That's wild.
Makes no sense because when you buy groceries, you don't pay tax, but when you buy pre-made groceries, you
Right.
do pay tax.
Yeah.
But
Soda
clothing,
and
but clothing's
chips.
made though.
Right.
It's made by hand by someone. So why
Right.
wouldn't you pay tax? You know what? Whatever. I'm not going to argue.
Well, we have in South Carolina, they have this weird thing where one day, I forget what it's called, tax day or tax exempt day or whatever, but it is right before the school year starts. And they they have where there's no tax on anything, no state tax on anything that you purchase in the stores. If it's like, well, besides like alcohol or whatever, shit like that, but school supplies. So
Okay.
pencils, pens, paper, clothing, shoes, like any of that, pretty much everything besides, because even they'll like even snacks and stuff you won't have to pay tax on because a lot of these parents have to supply snacks for the elementary school kids, for the different classes and stuff, wipes and all kind of different things, Kleenex. So there's one day there's no tax, and the place is like, it looks like Black Friday. I mean, it's packed. Everyone's buying all the school supply stuff for all that stuff. I've never been. I let my wife do that kind of shit because I do not look. I'm gonna go in, get beer or whatever, and get out, or go to the auto parts store, get my stuff, and get out.
Yeah, no. I wish if they did anything like that here, I could only imagine how crazy it would be too. Cuz
Hmm.
so one of the other big deciding factors on the field and the location was the dense population of the area.
Mm.
So I did a lot of research before I kind of pulled the trigger, no pun intended. And Bergen County, New Jersey, has more people per square mile than any other place in the country except for Washington D.C.
Holy crap.
Yeah, by a
Oh
lot
my
too. I think
God.
it was some ridiculous number. It was in the I think it was in the million. No, it might have been close to like the millions.
Yeah.
It was a ridiculous number, and I was like, yeah, that right there is a huge factor.
Yeah, it is.
Um, because it's just more people to captivate, and bring in. Um,
Yeah.
so so yeah, it's I could only imagine if they did something like that in New Jersey, what it would do to the storefronts.
Right. Holy cow. Yeah.
But
So how did you meet Jess?
that's a funny one. So Jess was a Instagram, I guess you could say, influencer.
Yep.
She hates that word, by the way. She despises that word. So
Oh, next time I talk to her, I'm gonna call her that.
oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Yes.
So she was a Instagram influencer that I kind of saw, and I was like, you know what, I'd like to work with her.
Yeah.
And I also kind of brought her in initially, and I was like, hey, listen, I'd like for you to help me with my social media. I'll pay you, we'll like 1099 it, like you'll do
Right.
it
Contract.
as a contractor,
Yeah.
and you just kind of run my social media for me. And that started out, and then she kind of looked at me and she was like, John, like, you have a lot of things that people want, and I think you would do great by opening up a website. And I know what it takes to do a website, and I didn't have the time
Right.
to put all of that in. And she was like, I'll help you do it. And that is where it just took off pretty much with her. I
Yeah.
hired her, brought her in full time, and she now does the website and the social media.
Well, Jess, if you watch this or listen to it, I'm sure she will. The website looks awesome.
Yeah, actually, she just redid the website,
Okay.
and we're gonna be launching our new website very soon. So we use Shopify,
Yeah.
like many other people. It's just a very well built system
Hmm.
for companies to be able to make a website, and it's they kind of have all the infrastructure already kind of built into it.
Yeah.
However, um, a I'm not going to name names, but a YouTuber made a video, and a bunch of comments said, "Oh, their website's just like blank," because it's the free template that everyone uses.
Yeah.
So me and Jess looked at each other and we're like, "Nope, we can't have that. Nope, nope, So 6 months ago, she started working on another website in the background, and it
Gotcha.
is pretty much custom. And
Yeah.
it still works off Shopify, but it's pretty much a custom website. And doing some final little tweaks to it, but we are going to be launching a new website actually very soon. And she did an
Okay.
amazing job on this. I mean, I told her, take the time and make it right, and make
Yeah.
it an awesome experience, make it look great, and she definitely delivered. So definitely keep an eye out for the new website. Probably within the next few weeks or so, we should be launching that.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll look forward to it. Yeah, I was checking it out. It's, even the one you have now, I thought I didn't think of it as a, blank or a basic template. I thought it looked cool. It definitely looks better than what I built for us, which looks really bland, okay? So, and really
It
basic.
it's a lot of work, man.
Yeah.
It's an so to just do a basic, like, these places that go, oh, we could build you a Shopify store and you'll start selling products, and then you go and look at these, and it's just like a white page,
Yep.
10 products with the price. That's it. Like, the most simple, basic, in your face, here it is, just click and buy the product, and that's it.
Yeah.
And whenever I see that, I just kind of look at it and go, I don't want to buy the product. If you're not even willing to put time and effort into captivating myself,
Right.
then you're trying to do like a get rich quick scheme type of thing.
Right.
And on principle alone, I don't think I'd support it.
Gotcha.
I feel like people that put time and effort and sweat and tears and
Yeah.
blood into their business are the people I'd love to support the most.
Right. Yeah, I
So
agree. 100%.
it's a fun road, websites, but I'm happy I have Jess to help me with it.
For sure. Now you guys do live streams together as well? I've
We
seen
do.
yeah, I just saw one I guess your most recent one where you guys were talking about it was new products you got in.
Yeah,
New
so
guns and stuff, yeah.
every live stream is actually about new products. So we do a live stream every other week.
Yeah.
And the live stream goes over products that came in, products that are coming in, events that might have happened in Airsoft, events that are coming up in Airsoft, and then just general have fun, answer the questions that people might ask, and just bounce things off and just have a good time. It's completely unscripted every
Yep.
single week. We don't even know what we're doing till it's happening.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part of it. I feel like when you have a show and you really kind of script the whole thing out, it kind of just takes a lot of the fun out of it.
Yeah, people are bored with that. That
Yeah,
that kind of format. We're done with it. Like that's been going on since the 50s,
yeah,
those kind of shows, especially news programming or whatever, or informational programming. We're done with that. Like we want the kind of spontaneity of
yep.
two people talking or whatever, a group of people talking and going over some stuff like that. Like the one I watched, you were picking up a box. I think it was a Kythera or some kind of part, and you went to show it, and it fell out of your hand. You were like, "Oh, I'm glad that's empty box." I was
So
like, yeah, it was fun to watch.
it's so I used to do the live streaming, like I told you. So I used to do
Hmm.
live streaming, and I kind of, I guess, have that part of me, that spontaneousness of being able to kind of take something and roll with it.
Yeah.
And that's, that's kind of why me and Jess work really well on the live streams, because she's a little bit more of a need to be structured,
Hmm.
where I come in and I'm a tornado and I'm just like, nope, we're winging it, do it live, and that's kind of how we run things. And that's why you'll notice where I'm like the talker, and then she just kind of comes in and she's just like, yeah, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And she prefers to have it that way. She even says, like, John, it's kind of like that song, Jesus Take the Wheel.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
gonna be like, John, take the wheel. And we kind of just have fun with the whole setup. We pick at each other, and um and it's just a fun time in general. I try not to make it too serious. um I definitely tell people it is not G-rated, so do not let your
Right.
6-year-old watch this. It is after dark and uncensored, and it is the real world and how things are. And if I think something is absolute garbage, I'm gonna be sure to tell you how garbage it really
For
is.
sure.
So I don't have a filter when it comes to
Yeah. Yeah, I could tell. I could tell by watching it.
that.
What did you stream? What was it gaming?
It was. If I say it, I know I'm gonna get so judged. I'm gonna get so judged, but I will tell you what it was. So,
It's all right, man. We're in a safe space here. It's okay.
one of the things that I also kind of got into for a short period of time, but I do still kind of do, is Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
So I actually broker high end Pokemon deals.
Oh shit. Okay.
So I've got a massive collection. So I started actually. I used to do Pokemon card openings on YouTube, and then I switched over to doing the online card game on Twitch, and I transitioned all of that into an actual Pokemon business. So I actually have another business that's strictly for Pokemon cards,
Oh
and
shit. Okay.
I believe it or not, was one of the reasons why I was actually also able to afford the field, because my investments early 2017, 2018 into Pokemon cards blew up in 2020 and 2021.
Yeah.
And I mean, I invested probably 35,000 into Pokemon cards over a 2-year time frame.
Yeah.
And there's more than a zero added to that now.
Yeah.
and I kind of sold that off and used it towards necessary things to grow, but now I just kind of mainly stick to the airsoft because of how much it's grown,
Right.
and I just kind of broker high end Pokemon deals due to my connections with certain people.
That is wild. Well, listen, I used to when I first moved here to South Carolina, uh, I took over a GameStop store. So I managed a GameStop for 3 years. That was my first, full-time job here in South Carolina. I was always I was always a gamer. Kind of typical story, I guess there. But that I didn't know that GameStops until I started working there sold Pokemon cards, Maple Story or Maple, like all those different kind of card games. We sold those as well,
Hmm.
and Yu-Gi-Oh, all that kind of stuff. So we had to learn. I kind of had to learn about like what are they asking for? I didn't know. Now my kids were starting to get into Pokemon, Pokemon game and cards and stuff. So I knew about that. But a lot of the other ones, kind of offshoots or whatever, uh, I had no clue that there was all these different ones. But yeah, a buddy of mine that I'm still friends with today, him and I worked together at the GameStop that I ran. He is still into all of those games. Like
Hmm.
he's a collector. He's got all kind of like figures and cards and card setups. I'm telling you, bro. Yeah, I need to get you in contact with him. I think you guys would have a good time talking with that for
I've
real.
got all of my high end items actually wrapped around my computer right now.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually I I made I guess you could say a big drive into certain things, and I'm kind of keeping them because Pokemon's no longer so out of all the trading card companies, it's no longer become just a game. It is now actually considered an investment,
Wow.
and they're bought and sold like stocks, and their values are going up and up and up and up because the demand keeps going up for them.
Yeah.
And Logan Paul was actually the first person to kind of really bring it into the spotlight.
Mm.
And when he did that, it was ridiculous. Um, it just went completely parabolic,
Yeah.
and that was and now that's one of the reasons why they're considered investments. Like, I mean, single cards selling for half a million, $2 million plus for a single freaking piece
Holy
of cardboard.
shit.
So, like,
Oh
it
my
just doesn't make
God.
any sense, but it's kind of, if you think about it, it's the world we're in now. Like, for Christ's sake,
Yeah.
people are paying millions of dollars for a digital
Yeah.
picture. And
NFT.
yeah, like
Yeah.
a Mona Lisa sold for $3 million. A digital picture of a Mona
Yeah.
Lisa.
Yeah. Or that
Explain.
one with the monkey that's smoking a cigarette or something
Yeah,
with the shades on. Like, dude, it's some crazy ones.
it makes no sense how, but at least Pokemon cards are a real thing, like in your hands. I wasn't kidding when I say it's a real thing in your
Yeah.
hands, and I can see it and feel it and say, that's cool. You know what I mean? And that's why I don't think I'll ever get into NFTs, but
Now,
it's
are those starting to get like a rating system? I was
yeah.
talking to a friend of mine a few weeks ago who's into collecting coins and other different kind of, things, whatever. And they have, I think it's coins, and I think he has some cards too, but they have a rating system where you can get it graded or rated or something like that. I can't remember what he was saying.
So that's what this is. This is in
Okay.
so it's from a company called PSA that's normally known for sports cards, but this
Gotcha.
literally has an authentication and a grade on it for it's a
Yeah.
1 out of 10 scale.
1 to 10. Yeah.
Yep. And that's all these are all graded so that their
Oh,
value's
shit.
locked in. There is
Right.
no, well, I think it's in good condition, but you think it's in okay condition type of thing. No.
Ah.
The
Now, what
authentication
is it?
company,
How do you go through that process
oh
to have
God.
it graded? Do you have to
It's a
send it in? Do they have
yep.
to have it physically?
It's a
Oh,
nightmare.
really?
So prior to COVID, it wasn't that bad. And I sent in my The last order I sent in June 2020, and I did not receive it back till July 2021.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and it was
Do they give you a
160.
progress at all? Like, or do you just
Oh
think,
yeah,
hey,
it's on the
you're never
website.
getting it back? Oh, okay.
It was literally on the website, and it did not move from research. Like there's like this like 8 stage that it tells you like cards accepted, cards checked in, cards being researched, cards being graded, packaged up, or they're being encapsulated, packaged up, ready for shipment, quality control, and it did not move from the research one for like 11 months.
Oh my God.
And I'm just sitting
You're
here going,
clicking refresh, refresh. You're like, this site's broken.
I probably called them maybe like 50 to 100 times.
I believe it.
And I'm like, guys, what's going on? And they're like, oh, we're just backed up. And it really was true. Like,
Yeah,
due to the influx in the collectible world, they
sure.
just, I think they did somewhere close to like 10 million cards last year.
Holy shit.
Like, it is ridiculous. Now tack on 10 that much more business coming in, and then them
Right,
being kind of closed because of COVID.
right.
They went from having probably 15, 20 graders to 3.
Oh,
Like,
jeez.
how much can they really pump out?
Right.
So the process is really not that bad to do. It's the waiting game that's a
Yeah.
nightmare. It's real simple. You literally take a card, you stick it in a certain little sleeve that they want you to stick it in.
Mm,
You go to website, you fill out a form that allows you to put in like what the cards are that you're sending, and that's it. You just send it in and wait.
gotcha.
So it's
So do
it
you have
was
any idea like what they're gonna grade it before you get it back? Really?
you can speculate,
Right,
but
you
I've
speculate.
I've had I've had situations where I looked at it and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a 10 without a doubt. Like this thing
Yeah.
is mint front and back. There's no, and I get it back and it's an 8.
And do they give you an explanation on why it's not a 10?
They don't
What?
care. They don't care.
Oh.
I took it as far as this. I went to Comic-Con in New York City and brought a card with me that I pulled on a YouTube video, fresh out of a pack, stuck it into the sleeve, in that sleeve, then sent it to PSA, and it got a 6. I walked into Comic-Con, walked up
Shit.
to the PSA booth, and said, "Can you tell me why the hell this got a 6?" And the guy's just looking at me like, I'm not a grader, but here's another free card." And he literally
Oh,
gave me another card thinking like it would make the whole situation better. I'm like, no, I just want to know why this isn't a 10.
right.
And yeah, it's I've had some heartbreaking moments, and then I had some moments where, ecstatic beyond belief.
Sure.
So you
Yeah,
got
I
to take
wonder.
the
I
wins with the losses.
I thought there would be like a if they're a third party kind of quality check system or whatever, that they would have maybe a list of items, or categories. Like, okay, you scored this in this category or whatever, and so you could kind of see where your card didn't,
So
up to
other card
par.
companies do that. So a company called
Oh,
BGS does. They give you 4 scores and then take the average of those 4 and give you the main score.
gotcha.
TSA does not do that.
Okay. But is PSA the best one to have as far as grading?
BGS is considered the pinnacle,
Mm.
but they're also the way more expensive.
Oh, okay.
So it could cost you $25 a card, and when you're sending in
Whew.
150 cards,
Right.
it gets pretty expensive.
Right.
Where with PSA, I was getting a bulk deal of I think $8 a card.
Okay.
So it literally goes BGS, PSA, and then all the other little companies underneath.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
it was a fun process. I've kind of thrown in the towel on doing it unless it's like really high end stuff. Like I
Right.
know if I buy this for 1,000, I know I'm going to send it in and it's probably going to come back and probably be worth 10, 20,000.
Right.
I'll totally do it, but I've kind of given up on the smaller bits.
Yeah, you definitely, you would have a good time talking with my buddy. I'll have to let him know that I talked with you about this because, he's all into all that kind of stuff for sure.
Definitely, and I'm more than happy to speak to him.
I love learning about it because this is something new for me. This is what I was telling my friend that I just did a podcast with like a month ago, whatever. It was uh, the only thing I remember in my life collecting was Kiss cards.
Okay.
You know, the band.
Yep.
I was born in '70, so when I was growing up, Kiss, you know, as you know, early '80s, they came out with cards, or maybe late '70s. They came out with trading card, you know, look like baseball cards, whatever. And because Gene Simmons was always like the business mind behind their band, and always into the, you know, other aspects besides just
Making
you know,
music.
concerts and yeah. So so they had the figures and the trading cards and you know, of course, all the apparel stuff. But I remember I had a grocery bag. Now this is back when they used the full size paper grocery bags, you know, at the store. I had a full one of those of just Kiss cards. Well, then I was telling my friend that, and I didn't know anything. I was young. I was like 9 years old, you know. But when my parents a few years later got involved in a church that was pretty strict, and anything rock music had to be out of the house. So all those got thrown out. So yeah, along with my sister's original Queen vinyl, the large vinyl, right, with a pristine cover. Yeah, it was. So anyway, we didn't know any of that crap back then, but so all that stuff had to go. But that was the only thing I remember, like, kind of collecting or liking to collect, which I don't know what that says about me because, you know, Gene Simmons is on there like, you know, spitting blood and spitting fire in these cards. And I'm like 9. I'm like, yeah, these are great.
You're a 9-year-old. Let's be honest. You don't even know
I
what the
mean,
hell
for
anything
real.
is.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I've seen too many of those situations happen with collectibles, and I
Yeah.
just look at it and I'm just
Well,
why?
how did you get into, you know, did you know you wanted to collect something? Like, were you always kind of collector before that, like coins and everything else? Or did you just kind of, oh,
It
I
was
like
always
Pokemon, so
business.
I'm just gonna hang on to it.
It was always business. So,
Gotcha.
so I got into Pokemon when it first came out. I was 10 years old,
Yeah.
and I got into it, and I was collecting them, and I was playing the game and everything. And then it kind of faded away, and the cards kind of went into storage. And a number of times, it always popped up, and my parents were like, "We're gonna throw this out," and I was like, "No, don't touch them!" For no reason, no idea if the value was gonna go up.
Right.
I'm just a hoarder with some things, right?
Yeah.
And that hoarding paid off. And I think 2016, when Pokemon Go came out, was
Ah.
when it like re-triggered, and it made me kind of look back into it. And I started looking back into it, and I was like, holy crap, like these things are like going way up in value compared to what they were.
Right.
And um and the first big purchase I made, I will never forget this. I bought a box. The box was from 1999, and it was a sealed box of Pokemon cards. I bought it for $1,675. And my
Holy
wife,
shit.
my now wife, looked at me. We were engaged at the time. Looked at
Holy
me and
shit.
said, "Are you freaking kidding?" I don't know if we can curse, so we're gonna go G-rated. Are you freaking kidding me? You're not spending this much money. And I was like, I'm doing it. And I bought it. And she was like, you know what? You do what you want. I feel like hoping that she would hold this against me when
Right.
if it went south.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I bought this box, and I bought 3 other boxes at a lesser value, but I spent about $3,500 or 3,000. No, it was about $3,000 on these 4 boxes.
Yeah.
And then wedding time came around. I paid for my wedding,
Nice.
and I was like, shit. So I want to do this thing for her, but I don't have the cash for it. Fine, we'll sell the Pokemon cards. I sold those 4 boxes for $9,000 a year later.
Holy shit, dude.
And I looked at her and I was like, stupid, right?
Like, now what? See? What else
And
you got?
and yeah, and then she kind of, I think from that moment on, kind of like was like the whole, you do you.
Yeah.
You do you. Clearly, you know about this and you know what to do and what to get. You just go ahead. And I was hoping she would have said that like 3 to 6 months earlier, because I was trying to buy a card, and the card was $10,000 at the
Ooh.
time.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Nope, drawing the freaking line there. You are not spending $10,000 on a single freaking card." Guess how much one of those cards sold within the last year?
Crazy amount.
700,000
Oh my God.
actually sold.
Now, did
Not,
you show her this?
oh yes, I did. And I looked at her in a joking face and I said, "That could have been our house." And she
Uh,
just looked at me and she was like, "I'm gonna go this way." And you know what? Like 2020 vision is,
right. The
looking back,
hindsight thing. Yeah.
hindsight is always 2020.
Yeah.
So obviously, if I knew, I would have been way more persistent on it.
Sure.
And if she knew, she would have let me do it. So I'm not going to sit here and like
Right.
blame her for it. She made a decision at the time that she thought was the right decision. It was a lot of
Yeah.
money. If I didn't
Yeah.
think it was ridiculous, I wouldn't have stopped. I would have totally did it.
Right.
But we were, like I said, about to get married and spending $10,000 that I
Yeah.
really shouldn't be spending on that.
Yep.
So I didn't. But it's kind of absolutely gotten to the point where I can look at her and say, "Babe, I bought this card for $100,000." She'd be like, "Cool."
Yep.
It's gotten to that point.
That's good.
But nonetheless, it's just fun. It's just fun kind of dealing with all of it. And um I'm not looking to go into anything else. I am
Yeah.
100% focused now on Airsoft.
Right.
We're kind of doing the whole. So we're doing the field, and right now our next big thing. So we have two more big things happening. One is going to be that we've kind of already started is the distribution.
Hmm.
So we've acquired a company, and we're the exclusive distributor for North America, so U.S. and Canada. Um,
Nerf.
huh?
What did you say?
We're the exclusive distributor for the certain product in
Oh.
North America.
Oh,
You
okay.
in the
Oh, it
United
cut out
States.
for a second. Okay. I
Yeah,
thought you
in the
said Nerf.
no.
Oh, okay.
In the U.S. and Canada.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the first step, and that's going to actually allow us to go into our next step, which I'm not going to go too crazy into, but it's the franchise idea,
Gotcha.
and we're going to try to take a very big part of Airsoft and franchise it and make it a a a thing that you're going to be able to go into almost any big store, and you'll be able to see the kiosk.
Right.
It's not going to be a whole store. It's not going to be like, because a lot of people have said, "Oh, why don't you franchise full out of Airsoft?" And the answer is because a lot of people, and I'm not saying this, this is what I'm told. A lot of people come to the store because of me,
Yeah.
because of the way I just kind of go about everything. Um and and I know that sounds super cocky, so I'm so sorry to everybody that may think that that's
No, that's
it's really, I've been there since day one. I've been there from
right.
open to close.
Yep.
99% of the time the store's been open, and it's kind of who everyone's kind of built the relationship with.
Right.
So if I built that and anyone else saw the name elsewhere, they would expect to see me,
Mm-hmm.
but they can't because I'm
Right.
in Jersey. So where the next idea is going to be a kiosk for a new business that has no correlation to me, but I think would be a fabulous idea for people that don't really deal with this part of the business yet.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be high kappa related.
Okay.
It's and the parts that we distribute are from a company called Unisoft,
Hmm.
and they primarily build high kappa parts. They manufacture high kappa parts,
Okay.
and we're gonna kind of use that ability. And they're very what's the word I'm looking for? They're very open to speaking with me. It's not like they're the manufacturer, this is the parts
Right.
they make, and this is what they're going to sell you, and that's it. I can call them right now and be like, hey guys, I think we should do this. And they'll be like, cool, let's do it.
Oh wow.
And I could call them and say, like, I actually had a little bit of a manufacturing issue with one of the parts samples I received, and I said, I really think we should do this. And they were like, not a problem. Well, what's the measurement you want? We'll change it to that measurement. And
Oh wow.
they're super accepting of
Yeah.
just, them kind of making the base and then allowing me to fine tune it.
Oh, that's cool.
So I think it's the perfect relationship that I'm going to need um, in order to be able to kind of help me get to that next level.
Yeah.
And they're just an amazing company to deal with. Like, um, is every company perfect? No, but they're
Well,
willing to work to get better.
right.
Where a lot of other companies, I'm not going to name companies, but I've had companies come to my store and I've had a conversation with them. And I'm like, you guys should really consider doing this. And they're like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And when
Mm.
I tell you, like, it's something as simple as make this in the existing colors you already have, they were just like, nah, we don't want to do it. And it's a lot of companies just don't listen, and they do. And it's one of the big things that attracted me to them is they're willing to listen to better everything.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
So I've talked to a couple other people that you know within Airsoft looking to kind of break into different areas in business, and they hit roadblocks all the time because when they have an idea, nobody wants to listen. They're like, no, just keep doing the things the way we've always done it. And like, how do you expect innovation to happen if you are just constantly shutting down all these, ideas?
Yep. I actually had a conversation with them, I think yesterday or the day before, and I was like, guys, we should slow down a little bit. They want to continue innovating.
Wow.
And I was like, let's just slow down. Give me some time to get all your products in, and then when we're like at 70% of me getting all your products in, let's announce the newer stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're expanding and producing more at such a rate that, like, I physically just can't. I don't have
Right.
$10 million
Right.
to sit there and bring it all in. So I'm like, you're gonna put this product out that you're making it, and the people are gonna look at me and say, I want this product. And
Yeah.
then it's just like, it's I have a system of how I'm bringing everything in, and
Yeah.
it's
You
just
have
gonna
to.
completely throw it all off. So I was like, let's just make the ones that we have perfect,
Yeah.
and then let's totally go after. And they were like, cool, that's what we'll do. And that's one of, like I said, it's one of the things I just love about them is they listen. And they
That is
don't
awesome.
just they don't just kind of have the manufacturing side of it. They also have experience in the retail side. And just
Yeah.
like you said before, a company having boots on the ground and understanding before just
Hmm.
kind of exploding, that's kind of them. They've had boots on the ground in the retail side, so they
Yeah.
understand it all. So when I sit there and I talk to them about it, they're like, "Cool, that's no problem. Yeah, that works."
Wow. That's
So
very unusual. That's cool.
very, 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 very unusual, which is why I really wanted to work with them. And
Nice.
I was blessed when they gave me the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, man, it's been really awesome talking with you and meeting you, hearing your
Appreciate it.
story. Yeah, yeah, I never know when these blind dates are set up, what, you know, where the conversation's going to go. I'm just very comfortable talking with people. I love meeting new people
Mhm.
and finding out about how they came up and how they got started, especially business owners. It's and especially in airsoft business owners because you're trying to innovate, you're trying to push new things, and you got your field going, or getting ready to start up, and that's I'm very interested in that kind of stuff, and how you got to that point, which you told us about, which is really cool. But so when do you plan on having your field open?
Oh, I wish I could say that's the million
Come
dollar
on.
question. At
Yeah, I
this
know.
point, it's no joke. It's the quadrillion dollar question.
Yeah.
Um, when do I want to open? Now.
Mm.
Realistically, I am not, and this is not me trying to hide anything.
Yeah.
Once I get so fire inspection, we just actually had our fire inspection scheduled for Friday. Once we pass that, then we have our final inspection.
Yeah.
Once we get our final inspection, we get our CO, our certificate of occupancy, allowing me to open. I told my guys the literally the millisecond we get the CO, you have 3 to 4 weeks, and we're open.
Yeah.
Get this place ready. So the building's all done. The bathrooms are done. The staging area is done. The field is done. The everything is pretty much done. We need to get product in there
Yeah.
and kind of like the tighten up loose ends type of thing, the bells and whistles, and get all that set. But everything else is done and ready to go. It's just inspection time. But once we have the final inspection done, which like I don't want to get too crazy and say, but like if God willing, if we pass the fire inspection on Friday, and if I can get the final inspection completed next week, last week of this month to first week of next month, we will be open.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
it's like right there. And
Yeah, good.
I just until I have that CO that allows me to literally by law open the doors, I
Right.
don't want to put a date on it because I did put
No.
a date on it. January 22nd was the first date,
Oh.
and that's when they came back and said, "Nope, you can have too many people in here. You need to build another egress and put 9 more toilets in." And that's where that corkscrew came in, and it just
Ooh.
snowballed into more problems.
Yeah.
So until I get that physical CO,
Right.
I don't feel comfortable putting a date anymore.
Sure. No problem.
Because I feel like it's just a false hope that I'm giving people that
Right.
I can't deliver on. However, once I get that CO, I can yell at my employees and say, "Get this freaking place open," you know, and
Hell yeah.
and I can get it rock and rolling. But that's kind of what it's coming down to is
Okay.
just getting these certificates allowing me to open by law. Then it's on me. Then
Right.
it's physically on me.
Right.
But as of right now, it is out of my hands. I have no control.
Yeah. So where can do you have a thing set up where people can kind of follow
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
it is open? When where should people go to say or to see, hey, when is this thing open? When can I show up and start playing, or the progress or whatever?
So we have our website and the Full Auto Arena website up. So our website is faairsoft.com, and the arena website is literally fullautoarena.com. And then there's also the FA Airsoft or Full Auto Airsoft Instagram and the Full Auto Arena Instagram. We've kind of posted updates up on the Instagram, but we stopped posting updates so we don't show people the final
Oh, gotcha.
outcome of everything.
Yeah.
So I've kind of done that purposely so that people don't see the internals yet and see what it's all like yet. But on there, our game plan is once we get the CO, we will we'll set a date for our open. When we set our date for our open, 2 weeks prior is when we're actually going to be selling tickets. So the
Okay.
way the field's going to work is it's not going to be an open play. It is and it isn't. So it's not going to be an open play where you could just come in anytime, pay for your entry, go into the field and play. Because it's player ran and player owned, I want to fun. And one of the things I found that's not fun at any airsoft field is when you go there and there's 150 players and it should not exceed 70. So in the beginning, it might be a small number, but we don't know until we actually try it.
Right.
We're going to have a cap of 50 players per session. So there's only going to be 50 tickets available. A session is going to be a total of 5 hours, 1 hour to come in and get ready, 3 hours of play, and then 1 hour to pack up and leave.
Wow.
And that 3 hours of play is going to be a jam-packed 3 hours. So it's going to be 10 to 15 minute games with 5 to 8 minutes in between. And if you're not ready in those 5 to 8 minutes, doors close, you have to wait till the next game. We're not going to destroy anybody else's time because you're not ready.
Yeah.
So we're going to be a fast-paced get in, get all your games in, poop yourself out, and then be able to go and do something in the rest of your day.
Yeah.
So you're not spending the entire day at the airsoft field because you spent,
Half of
60%
it
of your
waiting.
time.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
Friday night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights is going to be a single session from 6 to 11. Then Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday is going to be 3 sessions: a morning, an afternoon, and a night session. I plan on opening on a Saturday. And Saturday and Sunday tickets will be up for sale 2 weeks prior to open.
Gotcha.
And we're going to announce that one week, and then kind of the week leading up to them going
Right.
for sale, we're going to kind of post up every day. 5 days left till tickets go on sale. 4 days left till tickets
Yep.
go on sale. So that every single day, even if somebody doesn't go on our page for a couple of days, they'll
Yeah.
see it.
That's
And
good.
we're gonna kind of give everybody a chance to do so, because opening weekend, our tickets are going to be a little more expensive. However, it's opening weekend, and I plan on giving away a ridiculous amount of prizes.
Yeah.
So I've already got a custom gun painted by Rogue Customs.
Oh shit. Nice.
It's like a $650-$700 gun that we're going to be giving away.
Yeah.
I do Elite Force released a limited edition MP5.
Oh
I don't know
jeez.
if you know about that.
I've seen
They
one.
so they only made 400 of them.
Oh my gosh.
I kept one.
Nice.
I kept one
You
as a
collector.
giveaway. No, I kept it for the giveaway.
Yeah.
Strictly, so I got 25 in stock. I sold 24 of them, and I said one of them is going to be on hold as a giveaway for our grand opening weekend.
Smart.
And there's just going to be some really great prizes that are every single person. So every session you buy a ticket for is going to be one ticket entry into the raffle,
Gotcha.
and then the raffle is going to be done the following Monday for everyone that showed up that weekend.
Okay.
So that's the game plan of how we're going to do it.
Sounds awesome, man.
I
It
appreciate
sounds
it.
like yeah, it sounds like me and our guys will have to come up there and check out this badass field once you get it open.
I was gonna say, why don't you come up for opening weekend? You could do like a live podcast from the field that weekend.
I got to look and see how far of a drive it is to New Jersey, or a flight. I'll have to look,
You say
because
North or South Carolina?
South Carolina. We're about an
Uh,
hour. We're about an hour south of the North Carolina border.
okay, so I just drove down to Florida last September, so I have
Oh
an
shit!
idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you do.
it was my final road trip before the kiddo came. So me and my
Yeah.
wife did a road trip down to Florida and drove back after a week. But it's roughly about, I want to say, about a 10-hour drive, 10 to 12
Okay.
hour drive, because I think
Yeah.
Florida is about 15, 18
Okay.
hours.
Yeah.
So I want to say it's about actually closer to like an 8 to 10-hour drive.
Gotcha.
So
It's
doable.
not the worst.
It could be worse.
Well, my family, I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. So my mom and two sisters are still up there. So when we go up there to visit, it's a 8, 9 hour drive. And of course, we've drove down here to South Carolina 20 times before we moved here. And so I'm very, that's why I don't like driving 8 and 10 hours. Well, especially back then, we had little kids. So my wife and I have 5 kids within 7 years. So we had toddlers driving through the West Virginia turnpike, mountains, and, for 10 hours while they're crying and shitting their diapers and you know what I'm saying? So anyway, so I'm like, somebody says, "Oh, just it's an 8 hour drive." I'm like, I don't know.
No, I totally understand. I
I'll
feel
have to
like
look into flying.
anything past 4, that's a flight.
Right.
Anything past 4 is my rule of thumb, is a
Yep.
flight.
Absolutely. Well, man, it's been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on
Absolutely.
here, and it was really good to meet you.
I really do appreciate it, man. This was an absolute pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you. Hopefully we can do it again sometime soon, and
Definitely.
especially after your field, and a bunch of big things happening for you. So everybody listening, go check out Full Auto Airsoft website, their Instagram. I'll tag all this stuff in our video. And by the way, I stripped the audio off and put it on Spotify and iTunes, all of the podcast apps. So if somebody wants to listen while they're driving or at work or whatever, And I put those links in all those descriptions as well. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you so much, John.
Thank you so much again. I really do appreciate it again.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
You too now. Bye-bye.